Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nature with You. I am your host, Abby. Today, I will be interviewing my friend, Kyle.
Hello, my name is Kyle Green Tanner. I am currently an IT analyst. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, a nature lover, a person who likes to put their feet in the grass.
Enjoy the episode. Where do you feel most connected to nature?
I believe I feel most connected to nature, I guess, in nature. Like, I'm outside, camping maybe, but just like being in nature, really. But I feel like this question is a good one because, like, where do we find it? Because there are so many buildings and industry, and coming from my background, which is computers, I don't always get outside. I guess that like transitions to another question. But just that in this modern day and age, it's hard to even find a patch of grass to put your toes into. So when you do get that opportunity, I try to enjoy it.
Yeah, and you said earlier when we were talking that you're currently in a little small park by your house.
Yes.
That's
so basically,
nice to have.
Absolutely, yes. Me and my wife love this area. It's in Dundalk, but it's like I don't know if it's it's a creek. Yeah, it's a creek. And some people launch kayaks off of it, but the cool thing is they left about 10 feet of just like the long grass and tall grass so that like actual wildlife can exist in there.
Nice. Does the community use that space a lot?
Yeah, right now somebody's fishing off of the pier. So there's a restaurant right across. I can actually see it from here. It's called Hard Yacht Cafe. And it's an on-the-water bar grill place.
Yeah.
And if we had kayaks, we could literally kayak and we'd be there in 2 minutes. So.
That's really cool. I love that.
Sometimes there's like sea otters and like other things. We saw a really big catfish in the water, jellyfish, crabs.
Oh, jellyfish. Okay, so it definitely seems more marshy, salt watery than freshwater, you'd say?
Yes.
Okay, that's really cool. I live on the water as well, and a similar situation. We have a bar across the way called Lunacy, and we can like kayak or boat right on over there, and I do love that different way of transportation.
Yep.
Because
my dad actually used to kayak to work in Annapolis when he worked at the Naval Academy. Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
so
like
cool.
He had a shower at work, which is fortunate. If you do, then that's like the way, because you're bound to get splashed by salt water.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, kayaking is a lot of fun, especially if you become more experienced and you don't tip over all the time.
Yeah. My kayaks, it's a fishing kayak, so I like sit on top of it. I've actually never gone on like a traditional kayak where you're getting in, so I would like to try that to see if I'm able, see how different it is.
Yeah, that's how I grew up. As a kid in Annapolis, we would take those types of kayaks out. And then my dad ended up getting those fishing kayaks.
Oh.
He goes fishing and his back, it's a little bit better for his back. But
yeah, there's
it is fun.
Support. When you go camping, where do you normally camp?
Me and my wife have been to Ellicott City before, but recently we camped at Alabon, which is in New Jersey, and that was really nice. And that was with my mom and her husband and my little brother.
Oh, nice.
Yep, and it was just like a campsite. My parents have a camper, so it was nice.
And how is that a way that you can really connect with nature?
Basically, just being outside. Some people were making fires, and some people were they had everything. They had golf carts and stuff, and I know that's not really nature, but people were just like having fun and being outside, and we brought our dog Teddy, and he got to be outside, which was and then just like being outside. We played mini golf and stuff, but that's not really nature-esque.
No, but you're right. It
Yeah.
is centered around being outside, which I think is the first step to that connection. Just having those strategic plans to do something outside.
It could
Just,
be as simple as just getting some sun because I've
yeah,
had a vitamin D deficiency from being inside so
yeah.
often.
Yeah, I wonder how many people do have that because
Yep.
I'm sure, I don't know if the majority of people like intentionally spend time outside every day. I would think probably not, but
Exactly.
yeah.
Like you would have to make it a part of your day, but that's part of it. And I see certain people, like there's a gentleman who walks around my neighborhood and he swings his arms high and he's
Yep.
always walking fast. And I'm like, and he's a little bit older, maybe like in his 60s. And I'm like, he must be just getting his exercise in. And
Yeah.
I can tell he's on the phone, but he does it for hours. And I applaud him because sometimes it's like even that simple exercise can get your body moving in a certain way and even being outside as well. Like he watches the sunset.
Oh,
So,
yeah. The sunset really, where I live, like when it crests over, I have these trees that it crests over, and then I
yep,
can see it reflect into the water. So I try to watch it as many nights as I can.
exactly. And the
Um,
moon too.
oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
I guess, a true connection with nature. I'm like more, not so much like outside, but like thinking about the moon and the stars and things like that. But, and the sun
Yeah.
and how the sun is a part of our lives and gives us life. But there's this stretch of road, and I'm looking at it right now. Once you pass our playground, and you can perfectly see the sunset or sunrise from
Oh,
that angle.
nice.
And it's like such a good place, but you have to be there at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it is crazy how quickly sunsets change. Like you look down for a second and then look back up and it looks completely different. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just really cool.
Also, being in Maryland, like I always think of that license plate that's like it's like midnight and like sunset, and it's like very orange and red. Have you seen that
Yeah.
license?
Yes, I
Yeah,
have.
that. And it reminds me of that. I'm like, okay, I get it. That is truly something you can get from Maryland.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll be on the lookout for that. Hopefully it reminds me to get out and watch
Oh,
the
now that I
sunset.
mentioned it, you'll see it all over.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
a out of sight, out of mind thing. But now that I got you, like they say, when you are going to buy a car, you'll start to see that car everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. That would be a good thing to constantly see if it's constantly making me like, oh, you should spend more time outside. So, what is your favorite memory of being outside?
Okay, I have a few,
Okay.
but some of them are like being a Boy Scout and camping, or like camping with my dad. We went down to Cherokee, North Carolina, and we fished for like trout, and that was really fun. And like we've done a lot of different things together. Or just, I was really going to talk about concerts. So I
Okay.
think concerts are like the modern medium of nature, because a lot of people are like camping outside. And then they're also in venues where you can kick off your shoes and there's grass and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just recently went to a Dave Matthews Band concert with my dad, and it was really a lot of fun. And I like kicked off my shoes and my socks and got to ground my feet, which is like something that I rarely get to do because I'm always like running around or
Yeah.
at work and can't just take off your shoes. But like when you're outside and having fun, like it's good to just kick off your shoes and put your toes in the ground.
Yeah, no, that is an interesting take. I really like how you're right. It is a medium because this is funny to say, but I feel like some people might not even realize they're like outside when they're at a concert just
I
because
know.
they're so focused on the event. And,
Exactly.
but yeah, especially like lawn seating. I went to a Lumineers concert with my mom a couple years
Yep.
ago, and we just sat on the lawn, like in beach chairs. We had a drink. It was just such a
Yep.
nice evening. And
Exactly. The vibes are.
oh yeah, it obviously depends like who you're going to see and the location, obviously. But I do think that is a great point and a good connection, yeah. I guess one thing about concerts is that it does seem like a lot of resources are being used, right, to put on a concert. Have you seen that? I think Coldplay, maybe, they had some sort of concert that the floor of the like pit area somehow gathered energy from all the people like jumping up and down on it, and
interesting.
that was like used for their show. I'm not sure how like efficient it was, but that would be like interesting to see more venues or more artists be more intentional, just because of the
Definitely.
Obviously concerts are gonna continue, and I love going to concerts too. I'm not shitting on concerts, but it would be a great opportunity, honestly, to make a positive impact.
Yeah, that's like the battle of AI right now. Mm-hmm. It's like a great tool, but it also has an environmental impact. And I used a statistic that was like, doing one query is like the amount of burning a bulb for, I think, 10 minutes.
Yes.
A light bulb, 60 watts. So that just puts everything into perspective. Also, I went out to the dock. There's a lot of jellyfish, and there are a few fishermen out here.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so cool. I would love to see some jellyfish around me. I'm mainly like brackish freshwater, but I do really love jellyfish. So that's really cool. But
I'll try and get a picture.
Yeah, thank you. About AI, I do think it's so hard because AI is really being pushed on society right now, and so we're all just dealing with like, how is it gonna become a part of our daily lives? But then obviously they're forgetting to mention what the environmental impact is, so it is just concerning that we have more things to figure out. Obviously, just we have enough that we should be figuring out right now.
Just been trying to inform other people too, because I know other people are using it as a tool, but they're not thinking of the considerations, the environmental consideration, the impact that coincides with that.
Yeah, I do think that does happen with a lot of things. This weekend, we just have all of these things come up, and we go from thing to thing that we're just thinking, how does it affect us? Not really, how does it impact the greater movement or the planet? So it is understandable. We can't do everything perfectly every single day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely have a impact on this world. But also, we live on this world, so I think that we should live in harmony with it. But I don't think that's the general consensus of our world currently.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
Yeah, I think I worded that very neutrally, and also, I didn't pick a side or anything, but
yeah. I'm a big believer that there is no side for nature. Like, it's really just... We all benefit from natural resources, and we all will be negatively impacted by those depletions or other complications. So it really shouldn't matter, your quote-unquote side.
And you're talking in an ideal world to a person with reason.
Yeah.
So not everybody has that, and not everybody's on that same page as you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and what I've felt recently is trying to get people to see my perspective in life isn't always the best. So sometimes you just meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
And understand that not everybody's going to fully understand the same way that we do about, let's say, something like nature and how you should respect it, and it shouldn't be on sides. But then I was just thinking, you chain yourself to a redwood because you don't want it to be cut, and they call you a hippie, and they arrest you and everything like that. So where is the line truly? Because you are just trying to protect something that was there before any of us even got here. And then, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I recently watched a really good YouTube video. It was called The Case for Lawns or something like that. The Case Against Lawns. And basically a girl, she dressed up as the Lorax and complained about like modern day society lawns and how like we should have wild grass and biodiverse front lawns that create like habitats for butterflies and beetles and bugs and stuff like that. And basically talked about why we have them to this day. And it was a lot of like royalty back in the day. I forget what it was, if it was British or French, but basically they would have plots of land like on their courtyard blacked off and just grass. Yeah. And that was like a flex to say, hey, I have this land and I'm so wealthy that I don't even have to make crops on it or anything like that. It's just grass.
Yep.
Like, now that got bastardized, and I don't consider that a curse word. I think that's a proper term for this.
Yeah.
But basically, it twisted and turned around into what we have nowadays, which is land plots with no like produce or anything like that. And that's a part of like nature control too, like only having female plants with no male plants to pollinate them, or vice versa. And then we don't produce like fruit on the street. And they claim it's like the fruit is messy and like it'll make a mess, but also it creates free food for your community.
Yeah.
So there's both sides to it. I see in a society like I wouldn't want tomatoes or apples on the ground making a mess, but also there's like things available to eat those things, whether it be the rats or the ants or maybe a vagrant person who wants to just have a snack too.
Yep.
Yeah, birds, exactly.
Yeah, there are plenty of things out there that will use that natural resource.
Eat it,
yeah. No, I really want to look up this YouTube video now because I also love the Lorax. What are some reasons you cannot or do not spend more time outside?
Yep. This was one I alluded to in my first question, but basically I'm an IT analyst and I work on a computer, but I set it up that way. Before this, I was in the Marine Corps and I worked in a secret compartmentalized information facility. So like I didn't get any windows and I didn't really go outside that much. Like literally we would at work say, let's go outside and get our sun time and stand with the smokers just to get a little bit of sunlight for the day because we were so cooped up at working on a computer all day.
How did that impact your moods during the day?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We were cranky, honestly. We were like on 13-hour shifts. So when I first joined onto the Marine Corps, this is a little background story about me. Yeah. It was 2012, and that was the tail end of Afghanistan. So we were sending basically the last stint to Afghanistan. So my job was intelligence in the Marine Corps. So I did reach back intelligence, which is basically like when they're forward deployed, you have a reach back, which is like your element that is still at home. And you work on the same topic, but basically if they're more forwards operational, so when things happen, they're there. Whereas if there's more lower or smaller tasks, like they pass them off to us. So we would do like daily updates and things like that, things of that matter. Now, yes, you're absolutely right. It did get to our mood. And then when I deployed, it was even worse. So I worked in the hull of a ship, which one of the guys who deployed before me, we continued to ask what's some advice. And he would say, go and get some sunlight. Every 3 days, you have to go up to the top of the ship and get some sunlight.
Wow, so really it would be 3 days before you went outside.
Sometimes, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because we'd be trapped in the hull of the ship. And yeah, maybe we'd get like a little bit of time, but not like true sunlight because you never know where the sun is and where the boat is going and it's facing. But yeah, it was sometimes we went like weeks without seeing the sunlight just because we were so busy.
Yeah.
And yeah, we call it the tin can, but you got to get up to the top deck. But sometimes you can't get up to the top deck because it's raining or other things, and that's part of it too.
Yeah.
There could be bad weather. We went from San Diego to Hawaii, and then from Hawaii we went to Asia, Southern Asia.
Wow.
And that was a lot of fun, but also a long ride. And I always tell people, like, you could take a 13-hour flight to Hawaii, or you could take like a 2-week ride in a boat.
Like very different experience.
Exactly.
Have those experiences like made you appreciate being outside in nature more now?
Yes. And also, one of the reasons why I joined the Marine Corps was to travel. And it was one of the best experiences because of that deployment. I went to so many places and saw so many things, so many different walks of life, and so also nature. Like I went to botanical gardens in Hong Kong.
Nice.
And that was beautiful. And yeah, I've just been all over the world.
Yeah.
And I've been to Dubai. So just like it puts everything into perspective, but it also shows different types of beauty. Like when I was in the UAE, for instance, there was a hot water. Like there was hot water because we're in the Middle East.
Right.
So we would walk out on the sandbar and it was like a bathtub water. It was warm water and like it never got any colder. So we just swam in like basically 70, 80 degree water.
Bath water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
that's very interesting. I thank you for sharing all of that. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But tracking back to your question, so yes, I don't always get to, and even currently, like I still am an IT analyst, like I work behind a computer, but I get to go across campus, which, I mean, I work at Towson University.
Yep.
And I go all over campus. And that's my, like, getting outside and getting a little sun on my skin. And then also sometimes me and my wife, we go for walks outside, or just the other day we went to the Cove Bar and we put our feet in the sand. That's like our little bit of nature that we get, even though like we worked all week. And there's a lot of mundane in society, but you have to enjoy these small treats that like nature gives you as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's a great perspective to have because usually when we do have those nature moments, we find ourselves taking a breath and just resetting almost. So they're definitely necessary.
Ooh, speaking of taking a breath, something I did want to share is, and I've always told people this, I used to live in Cottonwood in Baltimore, there's a little trail back there, and it's like a nature trail, and I used to walk it to get to Hamden, which is another sect of Baltimore. Yeah. And I'd get over there to skateboard and stuff.
Nice.
And sometimes I'd bike it, and it was fun. But this little nature trail reminded me that, like, world leaders, I think it's politicians or maybe American politicians, would go and walk into the forest when they had, like, big decisions. And they say that, like, the smell of the woods and, like, all that in the air when you breathe it in actually gives you mental clarity.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah, it's great. So isn't that like cool that, and I think it's true, like why not just slow your roll and smell nature and nothing else to it besides just enjoying what's around you.
Absolutely. Just being present because we're moving constantly to the next thing. So that's a really cool,
Presence is rare too.
Yeah.
And I think you have to teach yourself. And then I also say, some people say like cleanliness is like godliness, but I say patience is like godliness.
Oh yeah.
Being patient, because it's a long time, and like also when you're impatient, time moves faster, but when you're patient, time moves at your speed, the speed that you want it to.
What is something you want people to know about nature?
Yep, I already kind of started with the whole walking into nature, but I think just remembering that we are always around nature and that, like, you need to respect it. Like, people are still littering. I see a bunch of litter right here in the creek and everything. And remember to hold your friends accountable about littering, too, because that's like somebody else's house, their ecosystem or their life.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess how what advice would you give to navigate like a conversation to hold a friend accountable?
Yeah, I mean, you and I have reason, so like we just spit like the fact of, hey, like this is impacting everybody, but at the same time it doesn't always permeate. So just remember, even if you don't get under their skin or you change their perception, you tried. You don't have to push it, you don't have to force it either, because people are going to be the way that they will, and they want to learn the lessons that they do when they need to learn them. Yeah. And not everybody learns them at the time that you want to learn them.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yep. So just bear with them, patience again,
mm-hmm.
and then just being kind with them as well, because if they are doing that, hey, good morning, that they truly are ignorant of the fact that it does affect other people besides yourself. And maybe not people, but things.
Yeah.
In the ecosystem, or animals, or people. It does affect us. Some other things I wanted to say about nature is grounding, because we talked about that earlier. Get out and ground yourself. Take your shoes off, put your flip-flops on, or your Birkenstocks or whatever, and Crocs, and then go outside and put your toes in the grass. They say that it can help you reconnect yourself. And also, this is a little tidbit I learned too, you can ground yourself to get rid of jet lag.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So grounding is basically you reconnecting with the earth that's around you. And I remember when I was traveling, I would be, even though I wasn't on a plane, I was still like, man, I'm in a different country. I can tell I'm not supposed to be on this timeline, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
So grounding can do that. Now, people buy grounding blankets that you plug into the wall, and then it grounds you, and that's one way you can do it. But you could also go out to a field of grass and just rub your toes in there, but you have to do it for a while, like 30 minutes or so, and then that's 30 minutes to an hour maybe, and then that might reset your internal clock. It's just hearsay. Don't quote me on it or anything.
But it can't hurt, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I also think we're born of this world, so there's probably some connection with this world as well. So I told you about the Dave Matthews Band concert that I went to and how I grounded with my dad.
Yes.
After that, he recommended me a song, and we didn't get to hear it that night, but it is like a really good song that sums up everything about what we talked about today and everything. It's called One Sweet World, and that's what I would recommend your viewers and you go listen to. It's just about the earth and how we love it and how you can rest easy because you're on the Mother Earth that you're at.
Awesome. I definitely need to listen to that. Thank you for the recommendation.
Absolutely. And it's an old song by him, but he's been playing it for 25, 30 years now. So yeah,
we need to blast that song right now.
Definitely. One Sweet World. It's a really good one. And it reminds me of my dad and going to that concert and sharing that moment where we took our shoes off and danced in the grass. And I've also never been to a concert experience where it was so calm, and I'm always a little bit anxious because there's just so many people.
Yeah.
But this time there were so many people, but everybody had a good spirit and vibe and energy about them, like you were talking about with your concert. And like we all had enough space to move around and not punch or hit each other or anything like that. So yeah, it was a beautiful moment. And ever since then, I've been obsessed with Dave Matthews because it reminds me of my dad.
Yeah, truly. That's a great connection.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
And that's a good thing, like connection with nature too. Your father and your mother have some influence on you. Here's my take on it. I was a kid and I was like, I don't like Dave Matthews because I was like, that's dad music. That's not for me, X, Y, Z. But now that I went to this concert with him, it's really changed my perspective because I'm like, wow, I do know a lot of these songs from my childhood and they remind me of good memories. And then it'll always remind me of my dad.
Yeah.
Sharing good experiences with him. So
yeah, it's funny how when we're kids, we're like, oh no, that's not cool because our parents do it, our parents like it. But when you get older, you're like, they like it for a reason. And
exactly.
That's
and
awesome.
Then I was thinking about what I would pass down to like my little brother or my nephews or my son if I have one. And it's just interesting share of that stuff. And then my dad has shared so much stuff with me now because I've actually shown interest with it, and it's changed like our relationship, and it's really good. So sometimes like finding that one like little thing. So the other thing about Dave Matthews real quick, I know I'm going on another tangent and another ramble, but he has since 95 been going to the Gorge, and the Gorge is in Washington, in George, Washington, right? And basically, it's like an outdoor amphitheater in a ravine that's like really, it's almost like a mini Grand Canyon.
Okay.
And it's a gorge. It's a gorge. And that's like a huge connection to nature. And they were talking about how the artists have to trek to it, and so do the listeners. So it's an experience. Yeah. And this year, my dad got to go to the gorge for the first time. And he's been a Dave Matthews Band fan since the 90s, too.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, he really, like, that was his ultimate, but now he wants to take us all there. So that's going to be an experience as well. So
oh, yeah.
I'm super excited for that. But, again, it's going to be a connection with nature because, again, like you were saying, like, some people don't even realize, but that's definitely one where everybody realizes we're outside,
Absolutely.
We're having a good time, and nobody's, like, upset or frustrated or anything. And me and my dad, we share different swag and like we trade it and stuff, and then we like stickers and all that. So that's pretty much all I have to say. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
What do you know about climate change?
I know a little bit about it. I don't want to say like I'm an expert or anything like that. I've been following it. I believe in it. I believe that there is climate change. I know that I believe that polar caps are shrinking and that things like polar bears are having trouble finding space, and it's due to carbon emissions. And we did talk a little bit about that with the impact with AI. But yeah, there's another myriad of things that have carbon emissions that we use in our day-to-day, such as cars or air spray or whatever it is. Even like computers. Yeah. I definitely think that we should have been on this, but part of it is you are a little bit younger than me, but basically in 2001 or 2, Al Gore put out a movie, and it was like about climate change. I cannot remember the name.
Yes. I do know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it's called. Yes.
Yep. We could easily do a Google search and it would be there, but I don't feel like it. But anyways, long story short, it was his warning, and everybody thought he was cuckoo. Yeah. And everybody's, shut up, Al Gore. Nobody wants to hear your jazz. And then everybody's, he's a cuckoo. Don't vote for him either. So basically it got tabled, and everybody was like, just ignore that and, like, vote for George W. Bush's son. Yeah. And I guess that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. But definitely, again, I think that nature issues should be, like, right on the forefront, but it's like, why are people like you who have environmental science degrees struggling to find environmental science jobs? Yeah. The sustainability impacts, environmental impacts, all those things should be handled, like, on a top priority level, but they're not, because it's build, make money, make profit, satisfy shareholders instead of satisfy the world that we live on, that we have to share. But I think that no matter what happens in the end, whether we all burn up or the world implodes or there's a bunch of, they press the button and all the bombs rain down on us or whatever, I think that I'm just going to enjoy every single moment that I can get. And every day that the sun rises and sets is a beautiful day to me. Yeah. And sometimes you got to just look at it like that. And, another song by Dave Matthews is The Best of What's Around, making the best of what's around. And I think that's what I try to do every day, is just make the best of what's around. Sometimes it looks really bleak, but you got to just keep on pushing and try to do the best that you can with what you have.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Nature with You. If you're interested in more content, please feel free to follow me on Instagram at naturewithyou_, or find more episodes on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts.